So today I'm here to say that I never thought I'd see the day when I would be backing away from TV, when I would think that TV is not a good thing. Because when I was growing up, I really thought that TV was the bomb. I thought TV was the most amazing invention that there ever was. And I spent hours and hours consuming lots of TV shows. There were a lot of shows that I didn't like so much, but most of the time there was hardly anything that I wouldn't watch if it was on that channel and I'm sitting there, I would watch. I grew up with Captain Kangaroo. I grew up with Romper Room, the Mickey Mouse Club, Howdy Doody. Um, but I think my favorite show was the Ed Sullivan Show. And oh, don't get me started about the first time the Beatles were on and the first time the Supremes were on the Ed Sullivan Show. Oh my God. So I was in love with TV. I loved the whole Saturday morning lineup of cartoons. My favorite was Miney Mouse, but I liked Yogi Bear. I just loved the whole concept of what TV was. And one of the things that happened was through watching the TV, I started to believe that the people on TV were really authorities and that they were smarter than I was and that they were here to help me to grow, to help me to learn things, to help me to think. And of course, these were of course, what the shows like, um, for instance, Captain Kangaroo was all about trying to teach the young kids and Romper Room, and there were a lot of other shows on there that were about trying to teach you how to be a better person or teaching you something that you didn't know. And so we started looking at the TV as like the authority. I mean, it may not have been a conscious thing, but subconsciously. And then especially the news, that voice that would be reporting the news and that voice that would be reporting or talking about any story. And I don't think I'm the only one, we started to look at these reporters and the people who were bringing us these stories as experts. And we started to believe that what they were telling us was the truth because that was their job. That was their job. That's what they did. It was their job to go out and find out what was really going on. And then they would come and report that to us. So over the years, I started trusting the TV. I trusted the news, and I just thought of them as an authority figure. And if they said it, then that meant it was obviously true. And as I got older, and when I say older, as an adult, really, by the time I was an adult, and especially when I was going through my mental health troubles and traumas, and I was in and out of mental hospitals, and nobody could figure what was going on with me. They just said, "You're going to have to live with this for the rest of your life. You're never going to get better." It was during those years where I started seeing things. I started participating in things. And one thing that happened is I me and my daughters, they were very young. I took them to an event. I took them to a couple of events where, according to society, someone who was speaking at these events was considered controversial, and they were the bad guy, and we were not to listen to this person. And but I went to these events anyway, and I didn't find that to be the case. I didn't find To me, this person was not necessarily the bad person, but I was confused. It was like, well, they're saying this person is not good for you. And I'm like, but this person has never done anything to me. And I have never witnessed them, maybe behind closed doors. Maybe I'm missing it, but I have never seen this person do anything bad. And so we would go to some of these events, and then the news would report on what happened at these events. And even my young children would say, "That's not what happened." And I'd be saying, "No, that's not what happened. That's not, nobody did that." And I said to them at that time, I said, this just goes to show that the media, the news, can make you believe anything they want you to believe because they have the microphone. They have the camera on them, and they can tell you what they want you to know. And so it was after that that I became a little distrustful of what was going on because now I'm thinking, okay, I was there and I saw what happened. And what you said happened is not what happened. So how do I know all those times when I wasn't there and you're retelling me what happened? How do I know you're telling the truth now? So after a while, I think it was around 2003 now. I just decided I didn't want the TV at all. I was just fed up with, I didn't understand in this whole giant world that we live in, for instance, there are so many people and so many things happening all over the world at any given moment. But every day, it seemed like there were the same 5 or 6 little stories that all the channels had, and those were the stories that were the stories. And so I'm asking myself, and I'm asking them, well, where are all the other stories? Oh, sure, there was a feel-good story thrown in every now and then, and something to make you chuckle or something to make you feel all warm and fuzzy. But everybody, how can it be that every news channel in the world, or at least here in the United States, is reporting on the same 5 or 6 little stories every day and reporting on them in the exact same way? I became distrustful, so I didn't want the TV anymore. And I remember when I got rid of the TV, when family members would come to my house and I didn't have a TV, they'd say, "Where's your TV?" And I'd say, "Well, I don't have one." And then the next thing was that they felt sorry for me, and it was like, "Oh, you don't have a TV? Well, you know, I can loan you my Sears and Roebuck card if you wanna get a T." And I'm like, "No, I don't want a TV." And it was very hard for people to understand that I didn't want a TV on purpose because that was the thing to have. Everybody wanted a TV. Isn't that what everybody's running out for on Black Friday, for a TV? How could you not want a TV? But I just didn't want a TV, and it had gotten so that even the sports channels, that noise, the roar of the crowd or that noise in the background, I just didn't wanna hear that anymore. And also, it seemed like there's a certain voice and a certain cadence that the reporters, male and female, have, where when you're listening to somebody speak, you can tell the difference between a news report and a regular television show or a regular interview. There's something about the way they speak. And I'm saying to myself, there seems like there's something wrong with this. And so it was around 2003 that I got rid of my TV. And I found out that anything you needed to know, somebody would gladly tell you because people would say, "Did you hear about?" And I say, "No, I don't have a TV." "Oh, let me tell you." And so most of the time, people would just fill me in on what was happening anyway. And I always figured that if I looked out my window one day and I saw everybody running, that I would just jump in and run in the direction that people were running. But usually people told me what was happening. And then after a while, I was able to start getting the information that I needed from different websites and different people on the internet that I wanted. But I shied away from the TV. Now, fast forward here, and I was participating in an online event, and I heard this person say some things that were online. And then the next day, I saw a clip on YouTube where there was a very well-known, famous, newscaster reporting about what this person had said, and the newscaster said that this person said the exact opposite of what they said. Now, I know this because I was listening. I heard the original broadcast. I heard what they said, but this major newscaster reported and said that they said the exact opposite. And I thought, whoa, and again, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I heard this myself. So if you are twisting this, then I can't be every place at once. I'm not participating in everybody's event. I'm not there. So how do I know that what you're telling me is the truth? And so I just decided I didn't want anything to do with the TV, anything to do with the news, and so I have shut it down. And I really feel like I would never have written my book. I feel like a lot of things I would not have done if I still had the TV because the TV consumed so much of my time. The first thing I did when I would come home into my apartment or my house or wherever I happened to be living at those times was turn on the TV. And that was a family thing. That's what we did as a family when I was growing up. You turned on the TV. The TV was on most of the time, and it was on in the background. And sometimes the TV would be pretty loud, and I like to tell people it would be very loud, and because some people say, "Well, why do you talk so loud sometimes?" And I'd say, "Because I grew up in a house where we loved TV, the TV was on, sometimes the TV was loud, and it never occurred to us that we needed to go and turn it down. We just talked over it." And so, having the TV consumed a lot of my time. By the time I got rid of my TV, I believe one of the things that I really, really enjoyed watching the most was, the court shows. Court shows. I loved court shows. And I would watch shows that I didn't even wanna watch. It was like a car wreck. It's like Jerry Springer. It's like it would come on, it's like, "Honda, yeah, oh, 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 really? Oh my," and before I know it, it would have it would have sucked me in, and I'm there going, "Oh my god, no, no, you need to leave him, you need to." I'm like, "What am I doing?" So, I got rid of the TV, and when I first got rid of the TV, it felt like a breath of fresh air. It was so quiet, and that's when I really got into my crafting, and I realized, "Okay, let's use this time, we can make stuff." I started quilting, I started writing my book, I started just doing a whole lot of things that I really believe that if I had never gotten rid of the TV, that I never would have found that space to do that in because it was so quiet, and I was left alone. And so there was nothing to do, I felt, but be creative. And so that's my TV story. And, I don't know if you all have TV or not and how much you watch. And it's not for me to judge. Oh, God, it's not for me to judge anybody. I'm just saying that maybe try going a period of time, see how it goes if you could just like turn the TV off for just like a week or something. I'm telling you, is so refreshing, and eating your meals are gonna be so different when you're not listening to that noise and listening to people talk, listening to those voices in the background. One of the things that's really curious to me, though, is that over the last several years when I have had an occasion to go for, check out allergies and stuff like that at doctors or whatever, they have these giant TVs in their waiting room. I went to one dentist, and there was this giant TV. The first time I went, there was no TV. Then the second time I went back to this certain dentist, there was a giant TV. I mean, the TV was almost bigger than his office on the wall. And I'm assuming that they make money kind of like how the CNN used to pay the airport to uh, show their programming. Programming, get it? Programming, to show their programming. But I can't believe that doctors' offices, clinics, dentist offices will have TVs. And to me, it's just a real turnoff. And it's just, I don't know how that helps anyone to heal. But then I guess if you feel comfortable and at your home and you're just into the TV, then having the TV, you feel like it's a good thing to have the TV there. But I find it really annoying because I find TV hard to listen to. It's hard to watch. It's just difficult for me to enjoy TV now. So anyway, that's my TV rant and that's my TV story. And no, I don't have a TV. Yes, there are TVs in the house where I live because in the house where I live, there happens to be people, some people, one people who really loves TV. So I'm going to just ask you to stay fabulous.